Hello everybody. Today I want to talk about minimalism. Minimalism in life and minimalism in code and minimalism in anything you do related to using computers. So what you've seen on the screen is my new version or my new style of presenting, which going forward is something I want to fine tune. And yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Minimalism tips. Little tip actually is even already I minimalized this because if I make this smaller, you see all the adverts? So first thing I did was I came in here, and because I was going to present this, I zoomed in until such a point that the adverts disappeared. I know it's made it quite big and you can no longer see the list at the top, but declutter little by little each day. There's 51 tips here, so if you want to make a brew, pull up a chair and subscribe. You might think, oh, well, this isn't a Python tutorial, but if you read the Zen of Python, you'll know why I'm doing this. Declutter by little each day. Perhaps one of the best minimalism tips you can follow is decluttering little by little. Decluttering your items is not a race. You can do as much or as little as you desire. Yeah, so I think the important thing here is to remember it's not a race. So if you've got a goal and you know that you want to get to a certain point, don't break your neck trying to do it all in one day. There's a saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. And yeah, don't try and do everything in one day. All you'll end up doing is rushing it, getting frustrated, probably giving up because you think, oh, this is too much, I can't do it. So yeah. And there's another saying also. This is going to be quite full of idioms and sayings today. What's the other saying? Every journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step or one step. So declutter little by little. Organize your room. You might always notice that there's not much going on in the background here. I like a fairly sparse room. Some people have all these flashing lights, pot plants, succulents, whatever you want to call them, guitars on the wall, huge great microphones that block out their face, PC towers that glow. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not having a rant. A mess only reminds you how much stuff you have to do. And not only mess within your physical mess, you have mess on your PC as well, or on your computer, if you want to call it a computer. To me, PC just means computer. It doesn't mean Windows, it doesn't mean Apple, it doesn't mean Linux. It's just a personal computer. Focus on old things. So I'm recording this on a 3-4-year-old Dell laptop. I like to focus on old things because if you can keep something old running, it saves you money. And also, every item has a time and a place in our lives. They provide meaning and joy for a specific reason. I don't know about you, but I actually get more pleasure from knowing that I've had something a long time. And if you have, even with clothes, there's something called cost per wear. So if you've bought some clothes which are very high quality, but you've worn them 1,000 times, the cost per wear of that pair of shoes is less than £10 pair of shoes that you've only worn 5 times. Cost per wear. Focus on old things. Sometimes it's just time to let go of the past because life is about moving forward, creating new memories. I think that's a bit more, that's more to do with relationships and doing stuff. So building up new experiences to have as part of your memories throughout life. Some examples might include old clothes, outdated technology, old tools. It may seem difficult to throw out that item that you haven't used in a while at first, but there's a lot of new experiences, new joys to make room for when you let go of those old items and let in some new ones. Yeah, outdated technology. So throw away that old 21-inch CRT screen that you've had for 4 years and treat yourself to a 27-inch curved Samsung. Or old clothes. I don't know. Anyway, reduce your multiples. There are some things we have multiple supplies of, and that's more than we really need. An example, if you live alone, you probably don't need a full set of utensils. you may only need 2 forks, 2 spoons, 2 knives. Actually, you might have multiple TVs, computers, and other products. If you primarily use one of something, try only keeping that. Partially agree. Definitely agree with the cutlery. The more cutlery you have, the more you just keep taking stuff out of the drawer and not washing up. Getting rid of old computers, I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to have a spare computer. For instance, which I'll get to in a minute, I cancelled my television license, so I no longer pay money to the broadcasting corporation, shall we call them. Because of that, I need a laptop to plug into my TV. So I have one laptop for that, and I have another laptop for work. And I have an old Windows PC that you saw me repair, replace the power supply on, that I use for video editing, and it's much higher performance, but it just sits in the corner. So, and I've got a Raspberry Pi, which I was using as a Bitcoin full node, temporarily turned off to save energy, because energy bills in this country are getting ridiculous. Okay, repair broken items. As you saw, I repaired my old PC. Consumer society has made all too convenient for us to buy replacements whenever we break something, but that doesn't always have to be the case. You can instead find a way to repair the item you broke. Being minimalist is not only just about reducing items that we don't value, but making the most of the ones we do. Because I repaired this PC, I already know it. I don't have to set up. If I'd bought a new PC, chances are some of the components might have been inferior because they're new. As we go forward in time, corners get cut. For instance, in the old days, a motor vehicle, a car, would have had a nice wooden walnut dashboard. Beautiful. Now it's made from polyurethane with foam behind it, and it's made from plastics and horrible stuff. So repair broken stuff, because older stuff sometimes has a better chassis, a better engine, etc. Choose quality. Adding onto the previous point, whenever you do buy new items, make sure they're high quality. Again, goes back to cost per wear, cost per use. If you buy something that costs £1,000 but use it 1,000 times, compared to something that costs £100 and you only use it 3 times. More quality and less quantity equals long-term joy and less clutter. Take time to carefully consider whether a produce or product you're considering can last that long. Digitize physical items. One thing that can take up a lot of space is DVDs, CDs, and other media content. On physical items, you can be able to give it all away. Blah, 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 give it away, yeah. So, I don't entirely agree with sort of getting rid of all your photos or getting rid of all your old VHS tapes. Some things are just nice for nostalgia, even if you don't even use them, like an old vinyl record. Just nice to look at, pick up, touch. Anyway, reusable products, blah, blah, blah. Reusable products. Yeah, glass water bottle. I don't have it to hand, but I always carry around a glass water bottle. I'm not preaching, I'm just kind of offering I'm just sharing what I do. It's always interesting to know what other people do. If you can get any, again, not necessarily learn from them, but just get inspiration. Learn a new skill. So despite doing primarily Python code, I am constantly chipping away at learning C. And Barry Brown on YouTube, as I sometimes mention. There's another channel, Chris Burke from Nebraska University, or a university in Nebraska. Check that one out as well. Not to mention, when you do different things in life, it's to increase your happiness too. What sometimes you've always wanted to learn, what would be cool to say. So again, also considering learning another language. I did speak Spanish to a medium or to a beginner level years ago. I don't know whether to pick that up again or maybe learn German. Don't know. Consider finding time to learn a new skill. Right. Have a new experience. Go on a new adventure. Obviously, we've been denied adventure for the past few years because of the C word. Also, minimalism does not equal being a Puritan. Being a Puritan is denying yourself pleasure. Being minimalist, you can still have plenty of pleasure. It just means you don't have lots of unnecessarily clutter, distractions. You can, in fact, being minimalist means you can concentrate on the things that give you pleasure. So it's the opposite of being Puritan. Being a Puritan means, oh, I can't have any pleasure, probably because you're too busy with all your clutter. Next, I just want to quickly touch upon something that's come to my attention. I've recently been doing some videos about FastAPI, and I just thought it was time to mention security. And obviously, anybody who's doing code in a professional environment, writing APIs, editing code for APIs, would know about this. But just, I wanted to highlight it anyway. This is a new book, April 2022, 368 pages, Hacking APIs. There's also another book which I've seen, which is called, I think it's something to do with hacking cars. Anyway, this is all to do with OS int and OPSEC and security. There's a whole world of hacking out there, so I'm not going to try and be knowledgeable about that. I just wanted to make people aware of that. So that's hacking APIs. You may or may not want to read about that. Next, we'll get to LFM in a minute. Just a couple more things just to finish off on minimalism. Whilst I was reading, this came to my attention, and I just wanted to throw this in here. This is quite a random video, but hopefully you can pick out some bits which are interesting. I just wanted to talk about the Peter Principle. The Peter Principle is a concept in management developed by Lawrence J. Peter, which observes that people in a hierarchy tend to rise to a level of respective incompetence. I was reading something on Reddit, and a post on there mentioned the Peter Principle. If you've not heard of it, yeah, don't be that person. Promotion. So to be honest, promotion's has never really figured at the top of my list of priorities. But if it's on your list or it's one of your ambitions, just be aware of this. So competence. Yeah, and again, competence. Skills. Pareto principle also. So 80-20. Spend 80% of 20% of your time actually gets you 80% of the benefit. So work out what that 20% is and do more of that. It's kind of minimalism because you're looking at just the 20% and you're discarding the 80 to get more skills and fine-tune your skills. So anyway, that's enough on that. One last thing before I move back to the Linux side of things, Lisp. So Lisp is a very old programming language. It was one of the first, I think it was 1958, it was invented alongside, it just came shortly after Fortran. And one point I just wanted to point out about it, the letter T, lowercase, stands for logical true. So how minimalist is that? Anyway, that is Lisp. You may or may not be interested in Lisp. Personally, I want to find out more about it, and they did try and encourage us to learn some of it at college, and AutoCAD was written in it back in the day. AutoCAD being a 2D, 3D CAD design program. So, right, let's skip back to how I'm applying minimalism. I just want to touch on, you may have seen this before and thought, oh, that's really old-fashioned, but I'll do a demo in a minute. And Linux file managers, I'm not quite ready to take the plunge into DWM or i3, but tmux, so Vim, tmux, and LFM. These three things I'm intending to use more and more, particularly as they make very clean screen for doing videos. And I know not everybody has VS Code, or some people use PyCharm, etc. And the beauty of using tmux, which I'll show in a second, is you can split the screen, you can change the panel sizes, split horizontally, split vertically, and so on. Right. With all that being said, let's skip to here. And this is going to be a kind of a new theme for some videos, not for all. Obviously, with something like FastAPI, you still need to... I'm still going to be using VS Code for that kind of thing. It's brilliant for editing HTML, JavaScript, and Python all in the same GUI. So what is tmux and why am I banging on about it? Again, not entirely Python related as such, but it's what I'll be using for some videos, so I thought I might just show it. So first thing you want to do is you want to edit tmux.conf and you need to change the prefix. So you have an operator, it's called a prefix, but it's a pair of keys which you put in before most commands. And the default is Control B, which is quite a big jump on the keyboard. Instead of that, I'm going to do C and A, C, Control and A. So the capital C actually means control. And then you unbind the original key binding because you don't want to C, Control and B to still be the key binding. So, right, without further ado, let's run tmux, so just lowercase tmux. And now you've got a screen. So why is this a big white screen? Well, what I did was in Linux Mint, I've got rid of... So this would be the default when you open up terminal and maximize it. So I did F11. If I go up to view, I'll just show you show menu bar and full screen. So you have to add show menu bar using edit and preferences. And then you go to shortcuts. And you have to add that because by default that's disabled. Anyway, that's a bit specific and probably not of interest to everybody here. So I'm so OCD-ish about kind of proportions and neatness. And so what is tmux? Tmux is a multiplex. Multiplex is how you can have multiple windows open on the same screen. Control A, then Shift and % to give me a vertical split. Now if I want to split this side again, I do Control A, which is the prefix key, and then Shift and quotes. So that's quite nice. And then what you can do is you can do something like, so we can undo tree. So obviously there's nothing in there yet. Now we're going to move across, so we do Control A, then we do O, and that takes us to our main screen. And then we'll change to that directory and then we'll start writing some code. Okay, so I'm going to leave that on the screen. I'm just going to do :W exclamation mark to write it. Now, this is just tmux with 3 panes. What you can also do is if you do your prefix key, so if by default it'd be Control B, I've modified it to be Control A. So I do Control A, then I do C for create. And now, can you see at the bottom, I've got Vim on 0, and I've got ZSH with the star by it on 1. So if you're familiar with on Linux and I believe on Mac OS X, you have workspaces. This obviously is probably, how can I say this? This is possibly what inspired workspaces in GUIs, because here we've got a workspace here. So I don't know, let's do htop. So I've got this running, but I want to leave it open. I don't want to quit it. So and then I do Control A, N. And that takes me back to my first workspace, which is here. Again, I've only started learning this, so don't rely on me for being an expert at this, but rely on me for some inspiration if you think this is something you would like to explore further. So now I'm going to do Control A, which is my prefix key, O, which jumps across to my next window, and you see how they're going in. It's a clockwise thing, so it goes from the left, top right, bottom right, back to left. If you want to reorder the panes, you do Control A, which is my prefix key. If you left it on default, so it'd be Control B. Then let go, and then you type the next command. So Control A. Now I'm doing a left-hand facing square bracket. And you see how it's toggling. So what was on the tall vertical left-hand side is now jumped across, and what was on the top right is now moved across to the left. So if I want to move it back again, I'll do Control A and then the right-hand pointing square bracket. With me so far? I should have keys on, really. I may do that for a future video. Sorry, I didn't do it for this one. So let me just put in the commands. So so the prefix default is Control plus B, but I've changed it to Control plus A because on the keyboard, Control and A are nearer, and it's much less of a stretch of your hand, and it's much quicker. I think they did Control plus B just to make it so bad that you would always change it. That's just my theory. So then, if you do Control plus A, then you wait, and then you do O, not in quotes, so let me just do O. And that's what moves you around the screens. So Control A, O, Control A, O, Control A, O, and back again. So then to switch to other, I'm going to call it workspace. I don't even know if that's what it's called, but I'm calling it workspace. You do Control plus A followed by N. Oh no, first you do C to create. And then you do Control plus N to go to second workspace. And if you do Control A, N, and Control A, N, it just cycles through them. So if I do Control A, N, and I've had enough of htop now, so I do colon, Q. If I exit this, you see in the bottom left corner now, I've just got ZSH star. So I've now just got one workspace. And yeah, let's do F11 and F12. And that's got rid of the title bar, the menu bar, and everything. So that's nice and minimalist. And yeah, hopefully you've had an interesting look at minimalism with me. Some ideas, some thoughts. And yeah, minimalism. It applies, well, you've probably heard minimalism, can't even say it. You've probably heard it in relation to art, design, architecture, music. Many people would say that Apple products are inspired by minimalism. The Bauhaus movement in the 1940s in Germany, Mondrian, the Bauhaus architecture, very what you would say minimalist. Some musicians, very minimalist, and so on. But we're talking about minimalism in code. One last thing, yeah, let me just show you LFM, last file manager. And I've done it in the wrong screen and it's going to complain. So what I need to do is exit out of this little pane. When I say little pane, I just mean small window. I need to quit out of here, exit out of here, and now I've just got this one window, or one pane within one workspace. And then LFM, last file manager. I'm guessing it means it's the last file manager you will need. I don't know. So you got left and right here. They're both open on the same place. So if you click enter on the /3 dots and demo X, that's where we just were. I don't know if it goes to it goes to the directory you're in. Yeah. So if I click enter on that, J, so with Vim, it's the same as your home key, so it's what you would use in Vim. J for down, K for up. And I've got the same window open on the left, so I'm going to go tab there. Then I'm going to press enter. Let's just go back up to, let's go into just demo. Oh, I've got a Docker Compose file there. So back across to the left. And for anybody who's ever had the pain of using an old IBM system, you'll be familiar with doing stuff with the F key. So this is kind of a tribute to that. And this is how you can do things quickly, but this is probably not how modern software should be written for non-expert users, shall we say. So, for instance, I've seen travel agents. If you've ever been in a travel agent, well, I haven't for a while now because of the C word. But they had something with a black screen and green writing, even 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe. I don't know if they still have, but yeah, IBM, is it the AS400? It used to cost about £20,000, and it had things called asyncs, and you had to do F12 to save and then cancel to, no, F12, I don't know, but it was just painful. And it was, I think, in the early 2000s, it was Emperor's New Clothes. There was an American company tried to sell my company an IBM iSeries, and you couldn't, it was difficult to get data out of. You had to import it into another database to actually print stuff properly with formatting, and it was painful. Anyway, this, for instance, say you're administering a Linux server, you can install stuff. You could just do sudo apt get install LFM, sudo apt get install tmux, and even on cloud stuff. So Google Cloud Platform, Amazon Web Services provide, some things are ephemeral. So ephemeral means only exists until you exit or till you end the session. But yeah, if you wanted to, you could use LFM if you could install it on on a cloud, because whenever you use Cloud Shell, GCP, Azure, that's what you get. I can't remember what OS it is. I think it's a slimmed down version of Ubuntu. Not sure. Anyway, that's beside the point here. I just want to copy this file. So it's F8. Oh no, it's not. No, F5. Copy. Copy hello world to. So I'm copying it from the left hand side to the right hand side. Copy hello world to ragdomo, and just see how. Now I like this because there's no possibility for accidentally letting go of the mouse, and when you're using that operating system beginning with W, if you accidentally let go of the mouse at the wrong time, you can drag a really important file and accidentally drop it into the wrong folder, or accidentally drop it into the recycle bin. Or if you drop it into the wrong folder, that's even worse, because yeah, good luck trying to find that again next time, or when you right, let's just go back across here. So say we did that, but we thought, oh no, we don't need it. So what was it? F8? Delete hello world, yep. So rather annoyingly, I had a business call then. So this is time to wrap up the video. I'd like to thank you for watching. Please subscribe, thumbs up, comment and all that, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.